Hello, my friends. Hello. It's Matthew Street. Welcome to my channel. As always, I truly appreciate you being here. And folks, oh my goodness, I'm doing another non-Beatles video. Oh, sorry. I just put up a short, though, that has some Beatles content in it. So go check that out. Anyway, folks, oh my goodness, think of how many bands were influenced by the Beatles' arrival in 1964 on these shores, the United States of America. Local bands in local towns and communities who picked up guitars and drums after the Beatles' arrival throughout the 60s, even leading into the 70s, into the 80s and beyond. So many great musicians out there said, hey, I can do that. I want to do that. I'm gonna do that. And they did. Diverse acts. So many different types of acts influenced by the Beatles. And a lot of them, they never had national prominence. They never had national fame. But wow, within a 100-mile radius of where they came from or where they originated, they were like local heroes. People loved them. People flocked to their shows. If they produced self-produced albums or cassettes or whatever it was at the time, people bought them at the shows. Maybe local record shops stocked these items, and they were like local famous musicians and artists. And wow, that's the coolest stuff to me. We can all be aware of and know about the real big famous rock groups or rhythm and blues groups or country groups or power pop groups, but it's those small kind of unknown ones, those localized ones that sometimes had just as much talent, just as much songwriting ability as the bigger acts, but they never quite got to that level of national prominence where everybody knows of them today. Well, folks, I have a band like that I'm going to talk about today, and I am so excited about it because this band is called The Numbers. The Numbers are so prolific and talented, innovative. Folks, this is a great, great album, and I suggest, before I finish this video, you better pause it and get over to Discogs or eBay right now if you want to get a copy of this, because if you don't, they're going to be gone. This is a very rare slice of rock and roll power pop that you are not going to find very long if enough people who watch this video get out there and try to buy a copy as I did. It's called The Numbers, 64 to 67, and it's on the Vox label. Let me see if I can find the label logo. Well, let me show you the vinyl, and then you can see the Vox label, VOXX. There's the vinyl. Okay. The Numbers, 64 to 67 on Vox. I'm just giving you that information right away. You can see the cover, because if you want to get this, I don't know how many copies are out there, because the place where I got this, when I went back to see if I could get another for a friend, sorry, out of stock, gone, couldn't get it. So I got mine, get yours. Anyway, folks, this band kind of fooled me a little bit, because I get the album and I start reading the back here. You get a lot of great songs. You get 3 covers. You get a cover on here, a Monkees cover by Goffin and King, Take a Giant Step. You get that great song that the Tremolos made famous called Here Comes My Baby, written by Cat Stevens, is on here. And you get one more cover, which I believe was done by the Easy Beats, called You Said That, I think is the name of the song. And that's on here. So you get 3 great covers. You get awesome originals. These guys can write songs, they can play, they can sing. But they fooled me in the beginning. These rascals, they fooled me. Because I start reading this, and you're not going to see it. The print is so small. But see, there's all kinds of print. There's all kinds of print in between the pictures here. And they allegedly are telling the story of the band. Stuff like, yeah, they were influenced by the Beatles' arrival, but then it goes into this whole dissertation about they were formed in 1963 in Dallas, and yes, I believe they are from Dallas, that they were inspired by surf rock, that they eventually gravitated towards the British beat sounds and modern rock, mod rock, and then it goes into all this stuff about how they toured Australia, and they had a big hit over there with the Stones' Come On, and they were only 16 years old at the time. They had to get permission to leave school to go on this big tour of Australia in the mid-60s, and they were cutting demos in Hollywood with Greg Shaw, their producer, and I believe Greg Shaw is there real producer, and their engineer was John Henning, who later went on to work with the Doobie Brothers and the Eagles and REO Speedwagon, Toto, and all these. And I'm reading all this stuff, and I'm going, oh my goodness, why aren't these guys more well known? Oh, they all this famous stuff they're doing. They had West Coast fame, Australian fame. They were famous in the Midwest, in Dallas, Texas. They had major labels like Kama Sutra looking at them, sniffing around. Brian Wilson and Frank Zappa even knew of them. Kim Fowley knew of them. Oh my goodness, in 1966 they auditioned for Don Kirshner to be the Monkees. And they could have been. Damn it, they're good looking, you know? But at the last minute, Kirshner pulled the rug out from under them and he went with Davey, Mickey, Peter, and Mike. I'm reading this and now I'm starting to get skeptical. I'm going, is this real? What? Why? One of them was married to Joni Mitchell? What's going on here? Anyway, folks, come to find out, Matt Street, Mr. Gullible, Mr. Naive, reading this bio on the back, what I can learn, and please, anyone out there, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Numbers are an early 80s power pop rock band from Dallas, Texas, who produced and released great music, and it's all been compiled on this album here. And this album came out 1983, so it's 40 years old. And they wrote this kind of pseudo-biography on the back that they were a band from the mid-60s influenced by the Beatles' arrival and were doing this type of music. And it ends up that's not what it is. They did record these covers, they did record these songs, but this was from the early 80s period. This is a band that fits right in with bands of the era, of that late 70s, early 80s period. The Knack, the Plimsouls, the Go-Go's, the Nerves, Sorrows, bands like that. That's who the Numbers are. They're one of those bands. Unfortunately, they didn't reach or attain that level of some of those bands of national prominence, but boy, they are just as good. They can write, sing, play great melodies, great harmonies, great licks, hooks galore. It's all here, folks, and I absolutely love it. And so I finally figured this all out. I go, oh, you dummy, because, listening to the songs at first, before I really figured out what was going on, I said, these guys are advanced. They were ahead of their time. I mean, if this was done in 64 to 67, I'm hearing stuff that could have been recorded in 78, 79, or 80. I was like, they were ahead of their time. They should be world famous, So, but eventually I figured it out. They're just a fabulous, excellent, great band out of the Dallas, Texas area in the early 80s who put out great power pop, rock and roll music. They're absolutely wonderful. They're on the Vox label. Like I said, look it up, VOXX, 1983, the Numbers, 64 to 67. Now, the members are twin brothers, Larry Tudor and Terry Tudor. All right, Larry plays bass, vocals. Terry is on guitar, piano, and vocals. And their drummer at the time was Robert Dill, drums and vocals. Produced by Greg Shaw. As I said, engineered by John Henning. Out of Dallas, Texas. They were like regulars on the Dallas, Texas, and the surrounding area circuit, playing shows, doing well, so popular, recording independent releases and whatnot. And they are so damn good, folks. And to this day, they are still out there doing it, and I'm going to tell you about that in a minute. But first, I want to tell you something very cool. Oh, another thing I learned is that, I didn't know this, a lot of bands in the early 80s would do something like that. Sometimes they would fictionalize a cool 60s reference that they started in the 60s, had a 60s past with a lot of detail and how they, but it's all like a made up history. We started in the 60s and now here, I didn't know this, but apparently a lot of 80s, independent 80s bands did that at the time. But they are a great independent 80s power pop band. And the cool thing is one of the members, I did a video about Sorrows not too long ago. Go check out that video about the band Sorrows. One of the members of the Numbers reached out to me. Terry reached out to me and said, Matt, love your channel, love what you're doing, blah, blah, blah. Thanks for highlighting artists, lesser known artists like Sorrows and stuff like that. And to have a member of the Numbers reach out to me and tell me he liked my channel, really made my day, folks. It really made me so happy. So thank you, Terry, for reaching out. I truly, truly appreciate it. He was so kind, so nice. I'm hoping he'll stay in touch with me. And I asked him before I made this video, I said, Terry, I'm going to make a video about the numbers in the album before, so I can promote the album. Do you have any message? And he just said that he just wanted to, thank me for doing videos like this, highlighting more obscure, lesser-known artists. And also, just so you know, he and I believe his brother Larry is still involved in a band called the Border Snakes, Bordersnakes, the Border Snakes, out of the Dallas, Texas area. From what I understand, they have a YouTube channel and a Spotify link as well if you want to hear some of their music. So I'll put the link to their YouTube channel here. But check out the Border Snakes. Apparently Terry and Larry, the brothers, are still out there doing it. I believe that's Larry. And I believe that's Terry right there. And that's Robert Dill, the original drummer. Okay? So they're still out there doing it. And you got this cool little mimeographed insert in the album right here, which gives the credits. All right? I'll do my best with that for you. You can take a peek at it. Tells who sings the lead on the songs. Pictures of the guys. Really cool. A lot of stuff written all over it. Really nice. So you get that little sheet. Make sure you get that when you order this. But folks, if you like early 80s power pop, this is a great little collectible to have. It is absolutely wonderful. I'm going to put it on again when I get off this video because I've listened to it nonstop since I received it. I love it. I'm going to be playing it. Absolutely great. And to Larry, and thank you so much for reaching out to me, and please say hello to, to Terry, thank you for reaching out to me. Please say hello to your brother Larry. Please say hello to Robert if you're still in touch with him. And hey, Terry, if I ever get a chance to meet you someday, I'd love to have you sign this for me. That would be wonderful and absolutely great. So, folks, check out the numbers 64 to 67. On Vox Records. It's a rare one. You're not going to find this in the wild. eBay, Discogs, go check it out. That's the only place I think you're going to find it, and you're going to rock out. Hey, and guys like Tim Allen, Stephen Schnee, and, Grant from Grant's Rock House and all that. These are the kind of power pop maniacs. Emma from 8 Vinyl Low. Who else out there loves pop? Omaha Introvert, Hannah. This is the kind of stuff you're going to get into something like this, folks, and so will the rest of you, I believe. Check it out. The number's 64 to 67. By the time this gets out there, if people start jumping on it, they're going to be gone because there's not many online. And they're reasonably priced, too. This is not that expensive. If you get a used copy, you can get it reasonably cheap. Terry, thank you. Larry, thank you. Robert Dill, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you to producer Greg Shaw. Thank you. Thanks to everybody for being here. I love rock and roll, and I love power pop, and I love the numbers. I am so happy to have it in my collection. Thank you all again for being here and rocking out with me. I appreciate it. Thank you. Check it out. The numbers. Link will be below to the Border Snakes, their current band. Take care. Bye-bye.